We were talking about Zazen. Nobody knows what it means. It means sitting in concentration. That's Chinese. Basically, the modern world talks about it as mindfulness. It's just paying attention to your own life is basically all it is. I call it relaxation. And I'm going to be making tapes for the website that we're doing this reading for. But we're going to talk about my best shot at Zazen in Africa, and it's a whole chapter in here. And the chapter is chapter number 55, and it's called Remember Jenny. I was living at her house. While we lived together, I had a temporary job for 6 months teaching 8th, 9th, and 10th grade business management in English at the English high school. It was absolutely impossible to get a work permit for any American in Namibia. But I was a dependable, as well-known, and an experienced teacher. My judo team trained there 3 nights a week. So when they needed an emergency replacement for a pregnant Namibian teacher, I was offered the temporary job, and I was thrilled to get it. One day, on the way into school, Dieter, the first name of my German nationality principal, stopped me and asked me into his office. Uh-oh, I'm fired already, was my first thought. Tommy, can you handle another 8th grade class? We can't pay you, but it would really help us. Typical Africa. Sure, why not? What's the deal? We just got an entire group of Ovambos transferred here from villages up in the north, and they're all living in hostels here in Swakopmund. They have absolutely no English whatsoever, and you just have to keep them quiet and do your best to keep discipline, okay? When do I begin? Come with me. I will introduce you to them. Oh my God, they had beards, and most were in their 20s. Very, very shy and tall for Ovambos, even the women, and all were totally bright-eyed with panic and fear. I asked the interpreter with Dieter to tell him I was a famous American lawyer invited to Namibia to learn their unique cultural ways and was very proud to be appointed as their first English teacher. He did it, and they both left. I smiled at them and dismissed the class and wondered what the hell I was going to do with them for the next few months. It was Friday. I thought about it all weekend. Monday a.m., I went into school early and I wrote the word Zazen on the blackboard in large, bold letters, and under it, in smaller letters, I wrote the word sleep. 2 words, Zazen and sleep. When the class arrived, they were very respectful and polite. I waited until they settled apprehensively in their chosen desks. I waited until they were totally quiet and all just looking at me. Then I dramatically pointed to the word Zazen and put my hands in a prayer-like position next to my face and tilted my head and closed my eyes and made a snoring sound. Then I opened one eye and I pointed to the word Zazen and then to sleep. They got it. They got it. They knew that Zazen meant sleep. And they knew that when I said Zazen, it meant go to sleep. They imitated me, and soon we're all very much asleep, some snoring gently. I was totally amazed. It lasted about 20 minutes. And then slowly they awoke, rubbing their eyes, very relaxed, and all smiling broadly at the relaxing experience. The fear and panic were totally gone from their eyes, and it was caused by the strange American teacher. Periods were 40 minutes long. Ooh, rah. I had a plan. I did this procedure every day for an entire week until all I had to do the following Friday was erase the word Zazen and point to the word sleep, and they all went out cold. The fear and panic had left their faces entirely by Tuesday, and each day they became more and more relaxed. And as they awoke each day, they spoke to each other quietly and joked politely with each other during the rest of the allotted class time. Monday, on an impulse, I tried something I even thought was a bit strange. This is a week into it now. While they were asleep, I read to them softly from the 8th grade business text in English, just like I'm doing to you right now. I read slowly, and I emphasized dramatically, as if they were totally awake and they understood English. I was nursing them carefully to learn how to say my words, and I pronounced them properly. I finished each lesson in 20 minutes. Then I added the words. You will learn to understand my words in English and to imitate me when thinking about or speaking to me or others in the school. Then I told them to awake themselves refreshed and feeling good for the rest of the day. When they met me in the hallways or after school, they always smiled openly and said, "Hello, Sensei," like all the other kids in the school. It did not occur to me that they had any idea what the words meant. They were just saying it to me. I just smiled back and said hi. I did this daily Zazen routine for the next few months, and we were together. They were extremely relaxed around me, and some of them even joined my judo practice sessions. The greatest tension in judo class was getting the different tribes to actually sit next to each other. Finally, I just ordered them to fight with each other on their knees so they could not get hurt, of course. And they all ended up knowing the pecking order, and they became fast friends. So much for Namibian tribal wars. The whole nation had to take a national education test each year. Testing is a totally ridiculous form of educational activity, replacing actual teaching time with a focus on rote learning. But that's another issue for another day. I was selected by the University of Namibia staff as a paid matriculator for the 9th grade groups during the actual test. In other words, I was a cop. I watched so that they wouldn't cheat. The whole country had people like me marching around watching students taking tests in every school every year. 2 weeks later, as I went into my evening judo class, Dieter, the principal, called to me and beckoned me to come into his office. School was finished, so I walked over to him casually. We had become good friends. "Hey, Tommy, you want to see your clades for the Avambos?" I said, "No thanks, I only promised to keep them quiet, remember?" "Tommy, you want to see your clades?" "No thanks, Dieter," I protested again. "Come, Tommy, you want to see your clades," he ordered. I went into his office. He showed me the actual test scores from the Ovamba 8th grade business management class. They scored the highest grades in business management in the entire nation. My jaw dropped. Yes, they took the test in English. And as a note, Dieter Meyer wrote me an official letter on official high school stationery at my insistence. I still have it, attesting to this entire matter, because I knew damn well no one in America would ever believe, or especially the educational bureaucracy, would ever believe this story. And I still have the letter in my file, in that drawer right over there. Ooh-rah. The next chapter is chapter 56, the Ukab Base Camp.